Hey, what's up? This is Antonio. Welcome back to my channel. Now, who's ready for some fighting words? In this video, I want to do a fight breakdown / prediction for Anthony Joshua versus Jermaine Franklin. Really quick, if you like the videos, please take the time right now, hit that subscribe button. Only takes a half a second. Also, while you're at it, hit that thumbs up button. It really does help and support this channel. And I'm trying to make this channel grow, and I'm trying to do everything I can, but I need your help, your support, and those thumbs up, they help. So without further ado, let's jump into this. Power. I've got to give this to AJ. He's got more knockouts than Jermaine Franklin has fights in total. So yeah, definitely going to go with Anthony Joshua with this. He's a power puncher. He's the type of guy, if he sees you hurt, sees you wobbled, whatever the case may be, he can definitely get you out of there. He's a well-known and feared finisher. So yes, he's been on a downslope as of lately, but he's a feared finisher. Not to mention, he is now with Derek James. So if you don't know anything about Derek James, just knows that he's a guy who believes in power punching. It was Earl Spence who said, Jermell Charlo wasn't known for knocking people out until he got with Derek James. And all of a sudden, he's knocking people out. So he can make a puncher out of you. And Anthony Joshua was a puncher prior to Derek James. So I'm really excited to see how he's going to look. I'm really excited to see what type of, personality he's going to exude in the ring. And I'm assuming it's going to be more of a dominant role in the ring. But quite possibly more of a stalking character in the ring. And I'm really excited to see just what's going to happen, what's going to transpire, but also what Derek James has put into Anthony Joshua. Speed. I'm going to give this to Jermaine Franklin. He's naturally the smaller guy, but on top of that, he has shrunken down a lot. He's not ripped, but for a heavyweight, he's nice and lean. He looked really good for the weigh-in. So Anthony Joshua came in at 255 and Jermaine Franklin came in at 234. So there is a substantial difference between the two of them. And that's mostly because Jermaine Franklin just lost a lot of weight. If you look at Jermaine Franklin in the Dillian Whyte fight, he was much bigger, much more round. And I think this is going to serve him in speed primarily because he is the shorter fighter. I think this is going to serve him primarily in the speed department. Endurance. I'm going to go with AJ solely because of the Usyk fight. He had 2 fights with Alexander Usyk, who was a cruiserweight, came up. So obviously, Usyk was not known for knocking people out at cruiserweight, and he hasn't bust a grape at heavyweight. So for AJ to go the distance with Usyk both times, listen, the guy, he can go. He can go. And for a heavyweight, he can go all 12 rounds if he has to. Again, I think people forget that, AJ was a unified champ. I think people seem to forget all the accolades that come along with his name. And championship rounds fighting, he also has that to his name as well. He did fight Klitschko also. So, yeah, definitely AJ. Durability. So here's the thing. AJ has been in some wars, obviously. But I don't feel none of his wars were as probably Dillian Whyte and the Klitschko. But you know what? He was young. I don't really count the Klitschko fight only because he was young and, when you're young and you're in the sport and you just got that dog in you and you're fighting a living legend and you got that dog in you, and it's a little bit different because he's really trying to earn his bones as opposed to being established. And when Jermaine Franklin fought Dillian Whyte, they were throwing bombs. Like, they were throwing bombs. And any other guy would have succumbed either way from either one of those guys. And throughout the entire fight, both guys were getting wobbled here and wobbled there and staggering here and staggering there. It was a real fight. I'm gonna go honestly with I'm going to go with a tie, though, just because AJ's been on the ground, a few times now. And that fight with Dillian Whyte, that was tough because, AJ had some moments with Dillian Whyte where, he got wobbled once. So I'm just gonna give that one a tie. Hart. I'm going to give that one a tie as well, and I'll tell you why. Both guys have been down. Both guys have losses. Both guys are still trying to climb the ways to the top. One guy is trying to get back to his former glory, and one guy is trying to make it to glory. So that one, when it comes to Hart, I'm going to say both guys. Body punching. Body punching techniques. Anything downstairs in the basement. I'm definitely going to go with Jermaine Franklin on this one. I mean, in a Dillian White fight, he was throwing some bombs. You don't see a whole lot of body punching with heavyweights, I don't feel, these days. And to see one, well, you have Andy Ruiz and you have Jermaine Franklin, but they are much smaller than a lot of the other guys. So that's probably the reason why they're throwing on them body punches, because, they're shorter than guys and they're just not as big. So, yeah, but body punching, he was laying some real work on Dillian White. And I don't know how Dillian White took all those punches, to be honest with you. I mean, Dillian White was a lot bigger in the fight, but still, Jermaine Franklin was laying it on him to the body. Definitely Jermaine Franklin for body punching. Resume, I don't think we need to say anything. The man fought Usyk twice and he fought Klitschko. Obviously, Anthony Joshua, hands down. There's nothing to debate, talk about, anything right there. Who's the better boxer? Anthony Joshua. Again, he fought Klitschko. It doesn't matter that he didn't win. He fought Klitschko. He fought him all 12 rounds. He fought him twice. And he fought Klitschko. Simple and plain. You have to leave it there. He fought Povetkin. Povetkins don't walk in the park either. You got to leave it there. So it is what it is. But definitely, AJ's the better boxer. AJ is the better jab. AJ is the better footwork. AJ knows how to cut off the ring. Like, I just feel like he's a better boxer. Whether you like it or not, he's just a better boxer. Controlling distance. I think this is going to be a major in this fight for a few reasons. One, because of AJ's size, AJ's height, AJ's weight. Well, I guess that's three. But also because, Franklin is just a lot smaller. And the way Franklin fights, he's a stationary target. He doesn't really use his legs that much. And I think that's going to be a major factor in this fight. And I think that's going to give Anthony Joshua a major advantage because Franklin does not use his legs that much. When I looked at the Dillian White fight, I mean, they were both just standing there for the majority of the time. They were just standing in front of each other. There weren't a whole lot of feints. There wasn't much head movement. There definitely wasn't any movement in the legs. So I look at Anthony Joshua and I see that this man did, multiple rounds with Usyk. He's Andy Ruiz fight, also the second one, boxed beautifully. Some people might say it was boring. They can say whatever they want. He won and he boxed beautifully. He walked out without a scratch and he was doing a touch it up. So either way, he boxed beautifully. Great jab, was flicking it, was moving his feet, circling his opponent. I mean, everything was beautiful. Now, let's just say if he were to mimic that, again, Franklin doesn't have any footwork. So this could potentially be a very, very easy night for Anthony Joshua. But again, I got to go back to Derek James. I know he don't play that. I know he's all about plant your feet and lock and load and let your hands go. So I'm like I said earlier, I'm really interested to see how the Derek James, mixture comes into the fight for Anthony Joshua. Let's see. What does Jermaine Franklin have to do to be successful? Cut off the ring. Go to the body early. Test AJ's heart. Why am I saying test AJ's heart? I'm saying test AJ's heart because in the first Ruiz fight, I personally feel like he quit. So I think that's just something that's in you. And I don't think that's something that necessarily goes away. I just think it might lie a little dormant, but it's always going to be in you. If you did it once, you'll do it again. It's like a guy who cheats. Margarita. If you did it once, you'll do it again. Anybody who cheats, if you did it once, you'll do it again. And I feel the same thing about somebody who has a little bit of a coward in his heart. Or, you may not show it after that fight, but I feel like that mentality to self-preserve is still lying dormant in you. And all it takes is for the right opponent to push you to the ledge for you to say no mas, no mas. Let's see. I think Franklin needs to put on consistent pressure from round one. Again, I think the most important thing is to mimic Andy Ruiz because there's no way he's going to mimic Usyk. So I think the best thing for him to do is to mimic Andy Ruiz. Throw in combinations, throw a lot, and when you throw a bad intention and impose your will, even though you're the smaller guy. Let's see. I also think that because AJ is showing up so much bigger than Jermaine Franklin, I would say really push him to the brink, and maybe you can take him to the deep waters. Although he's the ex-unified champ, although he's been to the deep waters time and time and time and time and time again, he has not been this heavy in some time in a championship fight. Use that to your advantage, because he was like 230 something when he made his little speech with Usyk. So if that's the case, well, maybe like 230, 240. Either way, if that's the case, him being 255, he's definitely going to be more on the night up. You could definitely push him to the brink, and maybe he'll get tired a little bit early. You never know, but it's definitely worth a try. What does Anthony Joshua have to do to be successful? Let's see. One, Derek James all over again. Derek James. Again, I just want to reiterate this. I think it's important to know what Derek James is bringing. I mean, I saw Anthony Joshua on some pads and everything. I saw him hitting the bag, and that's great, but I want to see how he like really sinks those punches in when he's hitting a live person. And I feel like he's going to plant his feet. I feel like he's going to have a wider stance. I feel like, because it's Derek James, I do feel like there's going to be a lot of body work. I feel like this is going to be an up-close and personal battle. I also feel like the reason why Derek James has Anthony Joshua as big as he is because I feel like they're going for a statement. They're going for a statement. And if Anthony Joshua gets through this fight, like in an impressive fashion, I don't see why we can't make the Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury fight like following. And it's not like Tyson Fury is going to fight Usyk anytime soon. So why not? And I feel like the only way to really get that is to get people excited. The only way to get people excited is to bring back old-fashioned AJ. What's old-fashioned AJ? Big buff dude. Big buff dude. 255. Chopping people down like trees. That's going to get people excited. That's going to get the UK roaring. That's going to get America excited. That's going to get the world excited. Yeah. And then when we bring, because I'm looking at the future, I probably shouldn't be, but I'm not the one fighting, so I can. Imagine that. Anthony Joshua flatlines Jermaine Franklin and then immediately calls out Tyson Fury. Immediately. I'd imagine Tyson Fury would respond because he knows it's the biggest payday there is. I mean, those two fighting in the UK, crazy pandemonium. I'd imagine they'd fill out any stadium. Let's see. Listen, one thing about AJ is his movement is underrated. He actually has pretty good head movement, but his footwork, like I said earlier, I think is levels above Jermaine Franklin. And I think if he can just keep moving and if he can stick to a game plan, another thing about Anthony Joshua, he's great at sticking to a game plan. Again, the second Ruiz fight is a perfect example of what he was supposed to do. And he did it to a T. And he won easily through that fight. And I imagine, with Derek James, there's definitely a game plan. I have no doubts about that. And if he sticks to it, I don't see why he can't take out Jermaine Franklin. Overall, I have AJ winning. AJ should win. He's got more experience. Better opposition. He's fought better guys, period. win, lose, or draw, if you fight somebody who's better than you, you should pick up a few things. Canelo Alvarez is a perfect example of that after he lost to Floyd Mayweather. Because prior to Floyd Mayweather, Canelo Alvarez didn't have any head movement. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Dude had no head movement. After Floyd Mayweather, he turns into Neo from The Matrix. So, it's not going to hurt Anthony Joshua because it wasn't like he got beat up by Usyk. He just got outpointed by Usyk. So that's another thing. Let's see. Anthony Joshua is bigger. Anthony Joshua is stronger. Anthony Joshua has a higher fighting IQ. And I'm expecting a stoppage, quite frankly. I'm expecting a show. I'm expecting a statement to be made and letting the world know I am back. Full steam, I am back. That's what I'm banking on. Now, I will say this, and I have to say this because I said that Anthony Joshua was going to win. What if Anthony Joshua doesn't win? Then I think it's over. I think the dream is over. I think it's lost. I don't think there's a Fury fight because I don't think anybody wants to see it. I don't think there's a Wilder fight because I don't think anybody wants to see it. I don't think there's anything. I don't think anybody wants to see it. Who would want to see it? Those were the names. And Deontay he came back, he looked great. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? There's a part of me that still believes in this Anthony Joshua dream. And I know a lot of people might say why, but there is definitely a part of me that still believes in it. Because when I see Anthony Joshua, I see a guy who has a great foundation. I think he has an overall strong foundation and understanding of boxing. And when you have that, and you have the size and the athleticism that he has, and his ability to be taught and coached, he has everything needed to be a successful champion. So that's the reason why I still believe in this Anthony Joshua dream. And maybe it's a dream. But until the dream is completely over, I'm going to continue to believe in it. And I do believe he can definitely beat Jermaine Franklin. Without a shadow of a doubt, I think he can get this one done. The question is, how impressive is he going to do it? Because we've already seen in the Dillian White fight that Jermaine Franklin is no walk in the park. He's not coming just for a check. He can fight, and he's got heart. He's got dog in him. And if you let your hands go, he's more than willing to exchange with you and let his hands go. But overall, like I said, I have Anthony Joshua. Drop your thoughts down below. I'd love to hear what you have to say. And as always, please like, please share, please subscribe to this channel.